My name is Courtney Harder. From a young age, I express myself through story. As an adult, I still express myself in this way, but making a book can take a long time. There's a lot of care, attention, and love that goes into every detail. So, while I finish developing my kids' stories, let me read you some really good kids' books that inspire me.
So, I just got done reading This Is Not My Hat by Klassen. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but it won a Caldecott, so I wanted to check it out. And when I went into the library, I asked the librarian if they had any Caldecott winners, and she got this one for me. She said it was really great. When you open it up, it says, "A fish has stolen a hat, and he'll probably get away with it." Probably. So, to be honest, as I was reading this book, I was concerned that it had a bad message, because it's just like a fish going along who's convincing himself of why it was okay for him to take the hat. And because I mean, like, the first page, it says, "This hat is not mine. I just stole it." That's first page. I'm like, no, kids shouldn't be reading that. And I think that's a Caldecott winner for the fact that this is a kid-centric issue. This is something kids deal with. Like, I remember as a child I stole some Pokemon cards. I didn't steal them, but someone left them in my backyard, and I like put a little bucket or like a helmet over them so that they were covered. And my whole thinking was, I mean, if they come back to look for them, I'll tell them where they are, but if they don't ask, they're mine. So I think, and that was when I was very young, so I think, you know, this is something that children go through, so it's good in helping them relate. And so it says, "I stole it from a big fish," so like a big kid. Took it from a big kid. He was asleep when I did it, so why would that bother the big kid? You know, he wasn't even, it's not like I hurt him to his face, and he probably won't wake up for a long time. So yeah, I mean, like, the big kid probably won't even notice, you know, and even if he does wake up, he'll probably won't notice that it's gone, right? You know, let's make ourselves feel better. And even if he does notice that it's gone, he probably won't know it was me who took it. So, you know, like, I can get away with it. I'm not going to be like the bad guy, you know? If we see each other on the street, he won't know it's me. And even if he does guess it was me, he won't know where I'm going. So, then it turns into almost like a revenge story, I guess, because, basically, as an audience, we are told where this little fish is going, and he's telling us that no one's going to find him there because it's really hard to see. And I think that's actually really a great thing to say, because the artwork later on, you get to have this really beautiful journey of going into an area that's hard to see. And I think that's, you know, storytelling magic. So, and then, but there is one person who saw him, which I also like. It's like including us in that story. Yeah, but you know, he wouldn't tell anyone. So one person, including us, are in on the secret. And so he's just not worried about that. He's not worried, but look who's coming. So look who's coming. And you can see, if you look real close, the little fishy's moving. So this story does a great job with creating action. So you have the big fish going in after the little fish, and he said, "I knew I was gonna make it, but you know, not really." And says, "Nobody will ever find me." And so you don't really see anything, but you can see, I like the use of the little bubbles because it's just like the movement. And then this is actually like priceless. I mean, so much is happening in this picture and we don't see it. We just know that you know, the next page, this guy's zooming out, and the way that it looks like it's zooming is you have him with his little face, and it's just like, it's wordless, but it's giving you so much without written words. So that's just so cool. Like, even the extension, because up to that point it's just been a little bit of bubbles. They're swimming just a little bit. This one is zooming out, long bubbles. And so from there we end with the fish sleeping again, and nobody's gonna get his hat, you know. So that's the end. And then it talks about John Klassen, and it says, John Klassen is the author, illustrator of I Want My Hat Back, a Theodore Seuss Geisel Honor book, a New York Times Best Illustrated Children's Book of the Year, and a #1 New York Times bestseller. He is also the illustrator of House Held Up by Trees by Ted Kooser and Extra Yarn by Mac Barnett. Originally from Niagara Falls, Ontario, John Klassen now lives in California. And that actually makes me wonder, I'm going to look him up. The fact that he lives in California, and then he has Theodore Seuss Geisel, that is UCSD. I'm living in San Diego, and so I'm actually involved in the I want to get the children's books certification from UCSD Extension, and that's a little clue, you know. This is someone that it's worth looking into. So, and then on the back it's just got the little hat. And yeah, so I guess that will conclude my review, and I would say that this book does well because of the action involved, and as discussed, the kid-centric issue of you know, finding something you want that you think you could make better use of than the person who already has it, or something like that, and then the revenge of going back and getting it, you know, retrieving what is rightfully yours. And we don't see what happens to the little fish. For me as an adult, that's disturbing. I'll be honest, I had to, when I first read this book, I had to go back through and like look at it again to kind of understand what happened. But give me credit, I would. The first time I read it, I was reading it like this, so it's not like I was looking down and seeing it clearly. But we did learn in the creative writing for doing kids illustration, like, you lay out the pages you're illustrating in a straight line and try and make the story fit consistently along that whole space, and the story does a great job with that. So I am learning what goes into making a award-winning book, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!